This is a demo for our integration with the CCH SpeedTax product. What our integration does is it basically takes all the sales tax handling out of Visual and utilizes the very nice service that SpeedTax has available for doing all of your sales tax lookups, address validations, reporting. They can even do your state returns and everything else for you. So to start off, let's look at it from the Visual side. On the Visual side, when you log into Visual right now, you currently have to maintain all of your sales tax information within Visual. So you assign sales tax codes to your customers. Those sales tax codes are associated with rates, and Visual attempts to figure out what the sales tax is based on all that information. And while that does work, it can be very tedious to maintain all those rates. You still have to put together all your reports and do all your filing. And there's definitely a lot of complex sales tax rules that the Visual tax engine simply isn't capable of maintaining. So the first thing you would do when you'd be implementing our product is removing all of the existing sales tax categories from all your customers. So you don't assign them any default tax groups. You want to clear those all out, and then we'll take care of it from there. Now, CCH is a per transaction based system, so it keeps track of basically each time that you do a sales tax lookup to it and commit it, that counts as one transaction, and you get billed per transaction basis. So we've defined it where there's a couple things where we keep track of whether or not to send the sales tax transaction up to them or not. And this is configurable, but the way I'm going to show it demo is when you load up customer maintenance, I've actually got two user-defined fields here, user 1 and user 2 on customer maintenance. And user 1 we've got is the freight product code for the customer. I don't have the label defined there for it. And user 2 is a Y or N flag saying whether we even look up this customer for sales tax or not. There's a setting in the program that says whether or not you even use these fields, or if you're already using these fields for something else, we can point them to a different place, but just keep in mind there's a way to control that. We also determine whether or not, if this says customer tax exempt, whether to send the transactions up for that or not. Now, there's good reason to send up all of your transactions, because you may want to have CCH do your tax exempt reporting for you as well, in which case we would still push the transactions up. It would just know that they're tax exempt when they hit there. All right, so as far as our integration goes, you're going to do all of your transactions Visual just like normal. You're going to write your sales orders, you're going to ship them using shipping entry, and none of that is going to change in any way at all. And you'll go all the way up to the point of when you go to invoice forms here, you'll go and you might even edit your actual freight here. But before you go and you actually generate your AR, that's when you're going to use our integration. And the integration, it's a separate program, and I've got it pinned in my start menu here called SpeedTax Lookup. And when you click on it here, it's going to ask you for a login. And it's going to show you these are all the pack lists that are available for processing. So these are basically pack lists for customers that we've deemed are valid, for pack lists that we haven't already calculated with CCH. So if we were coming into here, what I would do is I would say, I pick one of these pack lists. Let's pick this one right here since it doesn't have any tax on it yet. So 50016, you can see the shipped amount, there's no freight on it, and there's no sales tax currently. I'm going to go ahead and open that up in shipping entry so you can see it here. Five zero 16. Hit edit. So here's our pack list. We've only got a single line on it for a single part, and we've got the unit price and the quality. Now let's go and just throw some freight on here just so we've got that as an example. I'm going to go ahead and save that. We'll refresh this window here. Can I actually save that? we got our freight. So what you'll do is when you come into here, you'll most likely just want to check all. You can check one or many of these if you like. So I'm just going to do one, and you'll do lookup sales tax. And what that's going to do is that's going to pop up a window here. Now, if you had multiple checked, it's going to go down the entire list and look up for all the ones you had selected. But it'll tell you the tax is determined and writing it back to visual, and then eventually say lookup complete. At this point, this isn't done yet. You can actually look this up many, many times over. If you looked at it and realized that sales tax wasn't right, you might need to make a correction, maybe change the freight, whatever it is, and you can continue to look up as many times as you like. Each time you do the lookup, that doesn't necessarily burn up a transaction in CCH. That's just we're reusing the existing transaction that's out there. Now, if we were to go into this and look at edit again, what you're going to see is it actually added a new line to the sales order. And the line is listed as a service charge. And the service charge ID, you'll see it come through as the state ID dash sales tax. Now, the way this is actually figured out is we're looking at the ship to state, and if you go into service charge maintenance, we've defined service charges in here. And presumably you'd set up one of these for each of the different states you have nexus in. So we'll go to service charge defaults here, and you'll see I've created a few of them. So I had one called NY sales tax, one called OH sales tax, one called TN sales tax, and then one called DEF sales tax. So if you don't have it defined, it'll pick this one. Otherwise, it picks the state-specific one. And the reason we do this is it allows you to direct it to a specific GL account that way. So going back to our shipment here, you'll see the quantity is 1, and the dollar amount is the sales tax itself. Now, we don't actually store the breakdown in here. This is the total sales tax that CCH figured out. And when CCH figured it out, what happened is we sent this address up to it, along with all of the lines that would have been shipped. And those product codes are going to get mapped in CCH to all the fancy tax rules you might have, where something like freight, maybe taxed in some states or not, certain products may be taxed different ways, there might be use tax considerations involved with all this. So there's a lot of advanced logic that's happening in the tax engine. All we're sending back is a single line here with the total tax amount. But if you want to see what actually happened on the CCH side now, you can actually load up this website and go to transaction management, and you'll see our transaction listed there. Now we let you, we store so if you look at this, we actually store the pack list ID within this here. So if I was looking at, we were looking at pack list ID 50016. In CCH, that shows up as the document number. And when you're on this one, the field says invoice, but that would be a way that you would search to find a specific one if you're looking for it. When you pull up edit transaction, you'll see kind of a repeat of the same thing we had before with the SKU list here. We do break the freight out as a separate line, and this is that freight SKU code per customer that we had earlier, and you can see the tax was applied for that. And we go to tax breakdown here, and it actually shows you there's the state tax and then what the specific jurisdiction tax was. As I mentioned, CCH does some very advanced stuff when it comes to addresses. They know that based off the address, they figure out exactly what county it belongs to, and sometimes that can be ambiguous, something that visual certainly isn't capable of, but CCH does. They actually use a geocode to figure out where the tax should be coming from. A couple other things that they do is you define your nexus under entity management here, and there's a nexus tab. So here you say all the different states that you have nexus in. So we were doing a shipment here, what was this to? It was to Tennessee. So you define in here, you can actually edit it and say what the start and end date of your nexus is. The product mapping, this is where you actually start defining certain ways that these SKUs get handled. So right now I don't have anything special going on, but there's an awful lot of stuff that you can do in here to define, exactly how a SKU gets mapped to a certain sales tax rule. I'm not going to go into a lot of the details on it. CCH actually would have a full demo to describe all of the logic that can happen behind this, but it's a very powerful little engine they have set up in here. Then we have your ship from locations, different entities, and then reports. So as you're putting all this data in here, not only are we saving you the time of needing to do the lookups and maintain the tables inside of Visual, we're also, since it's going into the CCH website, they have several reports listed out here that'll start aggregating your data for you. Everything from state reconciliation report here, which you can see pops up in a PDF. I'm trying to have Adobe on here, but let's just save this. Show you what this report looks like. And so here you can see state reconciliation report. We can scroll down and find our, I must not have the right date range in there. Oh, actually I haven't committed it yet, so that's why it's still set to 0 there. But I guess the takeaway is there are lots of different reports built into here that you would normally have to be doing manually inside of Visual. All right, so like I mentioned, this wasn't committed yet. By the time you're actually ready to commit it, inside this window here, all you do is you check it and say commit tax. And what will happen when you do that, it's going to ask you, say you want to commit the selected pack list. Again, you might have multiple selected here. And when you hit yes, it'll basically process it, mark it and post it in SpeedTax, and it actually drops it off the list at that point. That way you know you're done with it. And if I went to transaction management now, I would have seen before this would have had a status of in progress or in process. Now it says posted. And this is the point now when it would hit most of those different reports. So there's a lot more to SpeedTax. I think from our end, the integration is a fairly straightforward little window that's added onto here that basically is handling writing things to and from Visual. The real beef of this solution is the SpeedTax side of things. When the transactions get out there, that enables the reports, them to help you with filings, and everything else. I'd recommend getting a separate demo on that if you were interested in that side of the product. But that's pretty much what we got here. If you have any questions, just let us know, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.